So, as for what I want to do with my life, I have no fucking clue. But I have things that I am doing right now that I do enjoy a lot. And certainly, I mean, I've always been the type of person with sort of a surplus of passions, shall we say, to the point where it's a little problematic because I have trouble focusing on just one thing for too long. I think that's another thing that kind of goes back to what I was talking about with content creation, where, like there's points where even if I'm really enjoying something and there's no reason I should be getting burned out, just the sheer like factor of time and the way the creative part of my brain works, it'll just force me to at some point be like, this is miserable. We have to go become a basket weaver now. I've never done that, but that's my brain is very ADD with creative stuff. Not in a clinical sense, just in a colloquial sense.
Oh no, he's
not
fucking insane.
Oh, I mean, well, I am a psychopathic mass murderer, but other than that, I'm pretty stable. But yeah, so I have plenty of stuff I've been working on. Main thing has been music, and this year I'm planning on pretty soon doing the first song for it, recording an album of songs that I've been writing for like 2 years now, which is exciting as hell. My music project, I'll link it in the description, or we'll link it in the description. Whoever does the description will put it in there, I'm sure.
We will do the description, Soviet Union theme. I don't remember how it goes.
Our description. Da, 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 da. Anyhow, I just memed myself out of my train of thought. But yeah, so I'm planning on recording an album. I've been working on it for ages. I have a YouTube and a SoundCloud where I post up like random demos and loops and crap that I put together, and nothing super official or super neat yet. But super fucking excited for that because I have grown up in a very musical environment. I've played the drums in my entire life and listened to music my entire life, and generally just it's been a big thing that's defined me and been very much a central passion of mine. And it's always just been really important to me, to the point where, like, I remember when I was a kid and I first realized that some people, like, just listened to music occasionally, passively, and that was their whole relationship with it. I was like, wait, everyone doesn't just sit down and listen to 4 Rush albums in a row when they're 10 years old? Oh, that's fucked up.
In fact, you even introduced me to actually listening to an album just in one go. Like, well, I technically listened to one album before. Well, the album format is depressingly, like, out of date now. Yes.
But it's not to me, which is why I'm making one. But yeah, so that's a big thing. I was actually just working on a random, like, piano piece that I've been writing earlier today. A few nights ago, I just sat down and said, I'm not going to practice any of the stuff I've been playing. I'm just going to improv something new. And now I've been developing that every day for a little bit, and that's been fun. But I have other shit, too. Much like you, I enjoy writing, and I enjoy telling stories, so I have a number of novels going at once, which is funny to admit because it just sounds like I'm freely admitting the low likelihood of them being finished, but I actually don't think it's a low likelihood. I just like to start a lot of things at once because I gotta be able to bounce between things. But yeah, I've got like, my main thing is a big sci-fi space opera that I've been constructing for fucking ages, since like 2016 technically. And then I also have like a sci-fi horror kind of dystopia thing, which
that's a newer
sounds
thing, right?
really generic and sad, but it's actually very much. I'll even give the elevator pitch. The sun stops giving off light, and humanity has to survive without its warmth or its light and shit. There you go. That's unique, right?
That one's the older one. I was thinking of the other like horror.
Oh, the new one that's literally just an idea.
Yes.
There is one that's just an idea. I won't talk about that one yet because I can barely talk about it coherently when I'm not trying to spoil my own ideas. And then I did have like a high fantasy, like medieval fantasy thing going for a while, but I decided to just stop writing that story and literally just use it as like a world to map and world build. That's another thing, is I really like starting worlds just for world building's sake sometimes, even if I'm not going to write a story in them. And if I decide to write a story in them one day, then cool, it's there and the world is built. But I fucking love world building. And that's like something that's really like to me, like a big goal of mine with any art I do is to just immerse the person experiencing it in an immersive world, in an immersive atmosphere. I think that's something that like ties everything I do together, and just like, because along with making stuff, you know, like you said, it hasn't all been productivity over here by any means, but it has been productive in a sense, even when I've just been, you know, taking in art that other people have made, whether I'm listening to music or watching a show or playing a game or whatever. And that's fuel. I'm fueling myself to do things. Yes. And I think that's what ties together a lot of things I like, is that atmosphere and that sense of a rich, like, immersive experience. Because, like, when I make music, like, all my songs are mood pieces. There's no hook. There's not even really a genre. I'm just like, piano, go, melancholy, minor key chords. And then, you know, with my books, I place a lot of emphasis on world building and creating atmosphere. As well, another big thing that I've been doing is just keeping up on a bunch of pet projects in Minecraft, because I'm a manic Minecraft builder. It's actually a problem. And I enjoy building entire realistic medieval cities by hand, because I'm also...
He's fucking good at it.
Sort of a medieval architecture buff, sort of. I love that shit. And yeah, anyhow, that's another example of where like atmosphere is really important, because I'll place a lot more emphasis than a lot of builders do on like small scale stuff, and just, you know, putting in a lot of like purposeful damage and staining on the buildings. I like art to feel immersive. I mean, it's on
your Instagram, right? You could link.
It is actually. We actually could.
People could look at that.
We actually could, if anyone cares. Spruce trapdoors are the fucking best. There we go. Minecraft message of the day. That's my building tip, is abuse the spruce trapdoor.
I feel like I need to note down all the shit that we want to put in the description, because we're going to forget about it. What was the first thing that I wanted to put? It was like, mother's basement.
Yes.
Video about anime. What was the other one we wanted to do? Was there another one?
Besides, the music. Spitfire Tree. That's the name of the music thing that I do.
Tree. Okay.
If anyone knows... If anyone fucking gets the reference to what a Spitfire Tree is, you had a great childhood.
And that's all I'm gonna say. OP gun from Titanfall.
No, it's not that Spitfire.
Or the World War II
Spitfire the size of a tree. Now that's just terrifying. It's just a Spitfire, but it's like the size of the Predator cannon. Anyhow, but yeah, so I got on a tangent about atmosphere and stuff, but more generally, yeah, I like building with blocks. I like writing books and telling stories, and making music is the main thing that it's hard for me to... Music is to a point where, like, it's hard for me to even say I like making music. It's more like a bodily function. Like, I don't really have to... Like, the fact that I like it is irrelevant, because I just do it, like, no matter what. So that's kind of why that's the main thing for me, because it just comes absurdly naturally. But
it does.
Yeah, so that's
everywhere.
That's what I've been. But yeah, that's basically been what I've been working on for the most part. Yeah, you went into a whole thing about like what you're gonna do for your career and stuff, and I'm just like, oh boy, I love thinking about that.
Spot.
Not. Yeah, well, I've actually. I am right in the middle of like the most chaotic, uncertain period of my life in terms of determining what the near future will bring. But at least I have, you know, artistically fulfilling stuff going on, like music and writing and whatever else.
You always want to work on, even if it's not the main focus. So,
yeah. Right now, I mean, like I said, I'm a man with a surplus of things that he likes to do. So that's sort of what makes it difficult. It's not trying to find a passion, it's trying to narrow it down. Because every time I try to imagine committing to one thing, I'm sad that I have to let something else go. Because along with all the stuff I mentioned, I also have things that, you know, I'm always doing that I've always done, like taking care of my animals, because I keep reptiles and stuff. So there's always something that makes me feel like I can't fully commit to another thing. It's great. I'll figure it out one day. I'd say the main thing that's working on now, like regardless of what I do for money, that I need to live. Unfortunately.
That sucks.
I can say with confidence that I'm going to be recording my album hopefully later this year. I don't know if the entire album will be recorded, but I know I'm going to try to get as many songs as I can get done pretty much this summer and fall. And I'm excited as hell about that. Like I said, I've been writing this album for like, I was saying 2 years, but that depressingly might be, well, not necessarily depressingly, just interestingly enough, might be an undershot now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, it's gone through a bazillion alterations and things. Like I say, it's kind of genreless. It's just like atmospheric random mix of instruments I like, singing about whatever the heck topic I feel like. And I wish I could label it with a specific genre or like compare it to something, but I really don't have anything to compare it to, which on the one hand, it could be something fun to brag about, but on the other hand, makes it very difficult to market. But I am excited about it nonetheless, because the main goal is just making it.
It honestly, I mean, I'm not as adept or adept. I don't know if that's the correct term, but like, I'm not as experienced with all the different like ins and outs of like, music and the industry and all the different genres and shit like you are. But I've been cultured by this man ever since like September.
Yes,
he's introduced me to a bunch of stuff, and my musical taste has grown a bunch since then too. From the stuff I've been paying more attention to, I'd say that you remind me most of like Radiohead out of all the bigger ones, because like you have this like very like there's a very artsy vibe to you. Now you're not like necessarily exactly like Radiohead, but it's like the way that it seems like the way that you want to go about making music is kind of similar.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're a huge ass motherfucking influence, so there is that.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I have a bunch of influences that all come from a bunch of weird different places. Radiohead and Talk Talk are probably the two like really big bands that most closely like were most directly influenced like literally the style of music I go for. And if I had to put myself in some kind of genre, it would probably have to be art rock, which is what Radiohead is usually described as, and Talk Talk is usually described as art rock or post rock. So I guess that works.
Art rock totally makes sense, though. That name works.
It does. Like I'm tentative to say rock though, because there's not a lot of guitar, and that's generally essential. But well, I mean, not yet. But I am gonna let my dad, who plays guitar, loose on it to do whatever weird atmospheric swells or Ebo shit he wants to do. I don't know.
You just do whatever you want on my song.
Well, for real, because I'm not a string instrument man at all. Like, so I pretty much just have to let other people's judgment work for that if I'm gonna have someone else play on something that I wrote. So
he's used to banging drums and clapping ass.
Oh, and slapping the piano.
Slapping the keys, yeah.
Slapping the keys.
Shit, I felt like there was some kind of segue that I was gonna drop off of that.
You had the most brilliant segue, and now it's just dead.
There was something you were talking about, and I was like, oh, that, we probably could talk about that more, but whatever. I remember what it was. It was that, not name drop anything, I've actually read one of your books, or at least how much you've written of it so far. That's I mean, I can't say anything too specific, but like it's super atmospheric and super well written, and the world building and it's oozing. I love it. Like, this guy's going places with his writing.
I give you a massive order of McThanky nuggets.
I am not in the mood for chicken, so I hope that they're made out of ass.
That's I was just gonna say, they ain't chicken, brother.
Okay, good. I
don't know what they are, but I know they're not chicken.